In this next module, we are going to start our learning on strings. It is a character array. So let's initialize a string. We can have character as data type and then your variable name. You can alternatively declare an initialized string like this also, where you are not defining the size and instead you are directly writing your complete string inside of double quotes. So total array size in this case is these 7 characters plus /0 character at the end. So total 8. Alternatively, you can also have a character pointer char star my string is equal to your string. So this is nothing but a character pointer to your string using this character pointer. Let us now check how a string is stored. As discussed earlier, string is nothing but a collection of characters. So all character locations will have an index and every character index will have a value, and each index and each character in the set will have separate address. So this is the first character element having this as address and this is its value, and followed by it are subsequent characters in the string, and this is important character which denotes end of the string. This is also called as terminator point for the string, so that compiler understand that it has to print from this point till this point. So this point will not be printed at all, but it is important for compiler to understand that this is the end point of the string. You can print a string directly like this using %s as format specifier and then pass your string variable. You can also loop through your string using a normal for loop starting from I and till /n is reached, and that can be done using your character array, then passing index and checking it with whether it holds /0 or not. So while looping, if you check this as a case, so my string 0 is k, so k will be printed, I will be incremented, condition will be checked. Now my string 1 will be checked whether it holds /0, so it does not, so O will be printed, and so on. These letters will be printed. So when I becomes 6, that time this final letter D will be printed, and when I becomes 7, so my string 7 is this value, so this condition becomes false and loop will be terminated. So that is how using normal loops we have printed the string. This knowledge is required when we will be doing some string manipulation programs wherein we are required to copy a string from another or convert string into uppercase or lowercase. There are standard functions ready-made available in C, but there could be chances where you will require some slight modified version of this function. So in those cases you will require to write your own function. So it is best that we understand how string manipulation can be done. So that is something that we'll be checking in the upcoming lectures, but we will be also checking few predefined functions which are available in C. As discussed in previous lecture, in C language there are a few inbuilt string functions available to us which we can directly use for string manipulation. So let us check few inbuilt functions which are available to us. First one is strcpy, in which s2, the value of second parameter, is copied into first parameter. Next is strcat, it concatenates string s2 onto the end of string s1. So in other words, operation is performed like this: s1 is equal to s1 plus s2. So all the contents which are in s2 are added at the end of s1. So if s1 is equal to abc and s2 is equal to xyz, after using strcat functions on these two strings, our final output would be s1 as abc xyz. Then the next function strlen gives you length of s1. So if s1 is equal to abc xyz and s1 is passed to strlen, in that case output would be 6. Then the next function is strcmp. It basically compares two strings s1 and s2. So the function returns 0 if s1 and s2 are equal or they are the same strings. It gives you output less than 0 if s1 is less than s2, and it gives you output greater than 0 if s2 is greater than s1. But let me explain you how function is executed internally. Suppose we have two strings a, b, c, d and x, y, z. So what compiler does is it starts subtracting characters ASCII value from first string with ASCII value of second string. If results are non-zero, then difference is written by the function. So whatever the ASCII value of a minus ASCII value of x, that will be the result. If your string is a, b, c, d, a, b, c, in that case the result is 0, here is 0, here is 0, but here it will be ASCII value of d minus 0 because there is no character available here. So in that case the answer would be in positive. So we can guess that S1 is the greater string. We will require this knowledge when we are required to compare two strings without using strcmp as an inbuilt function. Apart from these, There are three more functions that we can discuss. One is strlwr, which converts given string into lowercase. Then strupr, it converts given string into uppercase. Before we jump right into writing programs, let us revise or discuss again ASCII characters. So capital A as character has equivalent integer value as 65, B has equivalent integer value as 66, and so on. So capital Z is 91. Also small a is 97 and small z is 122. Digit 0 as character symbol is integer value 48, and so on. Digit 9 as 57 as integer value. So you can have basic ASCII characters starting from 0 till 255, which are total 256 characters, and these are part of these 256 characters. Apart from these, there are special characters like this, or a complete stroke, or a dotted vertical bar, which we have seen in earlier lectures. But we are revising it again because we will be requiring this knowledge in upcoming programs. In this lecture, we are going to check few inbuilt functions for string which are available in C language. So using these inbuilt functions, we are going to print a string into reverse order. We are also going to print its length. Then we are going to print that string into uppercase and lowercase. And we are also going to copy that string into another string. So in the program, notice that apart from stdio and conio.h file, I have also included string.h as header file because most of the functions are defined in this header file. And in the program, I am using two strings s1 and s2. So I'm asking user to enter string of his choice. Then in order to print reverse of the given string, I can use strrev as a function to which I'm passing the s1 as parameter. And on the next line, I'm printing the length, for which I'm using strlength as a parameter, and to it I'm passing s1 as a string. In the next line, I'm printing uppercase and lowercase of the string using strupr and strlwr as functions. And finally, I'm using strcpy as function for copying s1 into s2. So s2 was not used till this point, but whatever the value that s1 holds now will be copied into s2. So after that, I am printing copied string is %s, and I'm printing s2 into it. So if at this stage user has entered, let's say, a, b, c as his input, note that string has capital A into it and b and c are small. So this function will give us result as C, B and capital A. This function will give us result as 3. This function will give us output as A, B and C all in capitals. This will give us output as A, B, C all in small. And here S1 will be copied into S2. So here also output will be capital A, B and C. In this video, we are going to count alphabets, digits and symbols from a given string. For that also, we are going to use few inbuilt functions. Notice I have added ctype.h as a header file over here because there are two inbuilt functions, is alpha and is digit, that we are going to use in this program, which are defined in this header file. So I am declaring a character pointer to be used as our string, then I as index variable for looping across the string, then alphabets, digits and symbols. These are my two integer variables which will be maintained the count. I'm initializing it to 0 so the garbage value gets overwritten. After that, I'm asking user to enter the string, and this is my for loop, so I can loop through the string. So starting from I equal to 0 while string of I or s of I is not equal to /0, then I++. So this loop will iterate 6 times if length of the string is 6. Then for each iteration, I'm going to check whether current character is alphabet, and if this condition is true, so is alpha returns me true or false if the character is alphabet, and if this condition is true, we will increment alphabet by 1. If this condition is false, then we'll check whether it is a digit using isDigit function. So isDigit function will give me true if the current character is digit. We will increment digits by 1, and if both of these conditions are false, then obviously it is a symbol. So I will increment symbols by 1 using symbols ++. So this whole process will execute till we reach /0, that is end of your string. And once the loop completes, after that we are just going to print these values, alphabets, digits and symbols. In this program, we are going to compare two strings. So S1 and S2 are my two strings. So I'm asking user to enter S1 and S2. And for comparing two strings, I'm going to use strcmp function, which we have already discussed. This function is defined in string.h. That is why we have included this header file. So inside of if, I am using strcmp and I'm passing S1 and S2 to it. So if the result of strcmp function is greater than 0, then we can print string 1 is greater, or if result of strcmp are are less than 0, then s2 is greater, or if both the conditions are false, that means the result of strcmp was 0, that means the strings are equal. In the next program, we are going to concatenate two strings using strcat as inbuilt function. Notice here again that I have added string.h at the header file because strcat is defined in this header file. I'm using s1 and s2 as my two string variables. Here I'm asking user to enter two strings, and after that, just by using this function to which I'm passing s1 and s2, so that output will be s1 is equal to s1 plus s2. So contents of s2 will be appended at the end of s1, which will give us a concatenated string, and that concatenated string is printed instead of %s. So our final result would be concatenated string is %s, and %s will be replaced with a result of strcat. We have seen string manipulation using inbuilt functions, but now let us try to achieve the same results without using inbuilt functions. This will make our problem solving for strings more clearer and more stronger. So in the next program, we are going to calculate length of the string without using strlen as inbuilt function. So inside of main, I am using I for iteration and len for calculating length of the given string. S is my character pointer to the string. So I am asking user to enter string, and then I am going to loop through the string using standard for loop starting from 0 till I reach /0 character, which is a null character. So for each iteration of the character, I am going to increase length variable by 1. So unless and until I reach null character, this for loop will keep on executing and length will be incremented one by one. So once controller reaches null character, then this for loop will be completed, and the controller will come out of this for loop, and after that we'll just print the length of the given string is %d, and %d will be replaced by current value of length. So if our string was xyz, then loop will be executed for 3 times because there would be a /0 at end of the string. So once this /0 is reached, by that time our length variable will be incremented to 3 on each iteration. So that will be our final output. In the next program, we are going to copy a string from another string. For that, I'm going to use two strings. I'm asking user to enter string 1, and then I'll be looping through the string 1 starting from 0 till I reach null character. And then for each iteration, I'm going to store each character of s1 into s2. And once all iterations are completed, at the end I am going to add /0, which is a null character, to s2, so that when we print s2, compiler will know till what time I have to print s2. But if you don't add /0, then some garbage values will be printed after the content which we have copied from s1 to s2. And once this is done, we'll finally print the copied string is s2. So value of s2 will be replaced over here with %s. So if our original string s1 was entered as a, b, c, so obviously it will have a /0 at the end. So this loop will copy a, b and c into s2, but this /0 we need to add explicitly after end of the loop. So we have simply added /0 over here. In the next program, we are going to convert a given string into uppercase. So I'm using s1 as our input string. I'm asking user to enter s1 over here, and then I'm going to loop through s1 completely starting from 0 till I reach null character or /0. And then for each character, I'm going to check whether that character is greater than small a or less than small z. So assuming our string was a, b and c, and we are required to convert this string into capital A, B and C. So because of this condition, when we are looping through this string, this character is not to be changed, but only B and C will be required to change. So we are going to check all the occurrences of small letters. So in the second iteration, this condition will be true. So what we need to do is we need to subtract value of current character minus 32. Why 32? Because ASCII value of A is equal to 65 and ASCII value of small a is 97. So if we subtract 97 by 65, we get 32. So there's a difference of 32 across all capital and small values. So if this is 65, 66, 67 and so on, then these values are 97, 98, 99 and so on. So there's always difference of 32 between small and capital letters. So that is why in order to convert current current character symbols from lowercase to uppercase, we are required to subtract it by 32. So this condition will be executed only when we found a small character in the string and we will convert it into an uppercase. So this loop will be executed for all the values, and at the end of it, our resulting string will be printed as capital A, B, C. In the next program, we are going to convert a string into lowercase. So only difference here is in this block where we are going to check for occurrences of capital letters A till Z, and if we found any capital letters, then we are going to add it with 32. If our string is entered as capital A, B and C, here A is capital, then the condition will be true in the first case where we have found occurrence of a capital letter, then we are going to add plus 32 into it. So ASCII value of capital A is 65. When we add it with 32, we get 97. So capital A is converted to small a, and for the next occurrences of B and C, this condition will not be true, hence the remaining letters will remain as it is. So our final string will be ABC in small. So once this for loop is completely executed, we'll directly print resultant string is S1. So S1 is now small ABC, so that ABC will be printed over here. In the next program, we are going to join two strings. The operation is similar to concatenate function that we have seen earlier, which is the inbuilt function in C. But in this program, we are going to do it without using any inbuilt function. So S1 and S2 are our two strings. So I'm asking user to enter those strings over here. So assuming user has entered A, B, C, D as the S1 and X, Y, Z as S2. These are index values. So length of S1 is 4 and length of S2 is 3. So to concatenate or to join two strings, we need to start writing X, Y, Z from this point like this. So from the fourth location, we are required to add characters of X, Y, Z into S1. If you notice, location 4th is equivalent to length of S1, that is 4. So we need to first find out what length of S1 would be. So this is our for loop. We are going to iterate across S1 and we'll find length. So once we have the length of S1, we are going to use another variable J0 to iterate through S2, and then I am using another for loop to start appending characters of S2 into S1 from starting point of its length. So that is why the value that we have calculated here will be used to initialize value of I. So I will be initialized to 4. We are going to loop till S2 of J does not reaches /0. So for each characters which is available in S2, we can start writing at these locations. So inside of this for loop, I am writing S1 of I is equal to S2 of J. Notice that I was started from len and J is started from 0 over here. And on each iteration, we are going to increment J++, and also once these two statements are executed, I is also going to get incremented. So throughout this second loop for S2, first X will be written, then Y will be written, then Z will be written, and once compiler reaches this /0, the loop will be completed, and at the end of the loop, we must add /0 character into S1. So at this final location, we should also write /0. So this whole thing is now your S1 to which we have added XYZ from the second string. So your final character array is A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z and /0 as a null character in the end. So in the final statement, this will be printed. Resultant string is %s and value of S1 will be printed instead of %s. In the next program, we are going to count alphabets, digits and symbols from a given string. So in this program, I am going to use three variables, alphabets, digits and symbols, all initialized to 0 because these three variables will be used for maintaining count of characters. We are going to use *s as the string. So here I am asking user to enter string. Then this for loop is to loop through that string till we reach /0 character. And inside of this for loop, I am going to check whether the current character is between capital A and Z or small a and small z. So if either of the condition is true, then alphabet plus plus will be executed. If both are false, that means the current character is either a digit or a symbol. So that we will check in the next else if statement. We will check whether it is a digit. So we are checking current character greater than or equal to character value 0, or it is less than or equal to character value 9. If this condition is true, we are going to increase digits by 1, and else if this condition is also false, that means the current character was a symbol. So we will increment symbols by 1. So these conditions will be tested for all the characters which are present in our string. So when current character is a null character, this for loop will be completed, and at the end of the for loop we will have count of alphabets, digits and symbols, so that we will print using these printf statements. In the next program, we are going to compare two strings. So I'm asking user to enter two strings over here. S1 and S2 are my strings. Then I'm going to loop through the first string, which is S1, and second string is S2. So starting from 0 till we reach null character, we are going to loop through S1, and then we are going to compare both the strings character by character. So for each character, we are going to check whether the current character from both string is equal or not. So if it is not equal, then we will check whether current character in S1 is greater than current character from S2. If it is greater, then we can immediately print string 1 is greater, else we can print string 2 is greater, and we can immediately exit there because there is no point of checking subsequent characters. But if those are equal, then we'll move on to check the next character and the next character and so on until we reach a point where characters are not equal. Suppose both strings were A, B, C, D, then E is not present, then till the time we reaches D, this condition has not been true. Hence after that, for loop will get completed because we will reach /0 after letter D. Hence we can finally print the strings are equal. But if strings were A, B, C, D, E, then in the final loop, there is no character over here. So E will be considered greater than a /0 character which is over here. Hence in that case, S1 will be a greater string. This program is fairly simply written actually, but there are few validations that we need to perform, like a case where ABCD could be the first string and ABCDE would be the second string. So there is a loophole in this program because we have the loop on S1 which is going to execute only for 4 iterations. So till 4 iterations these strings are equal. So this program will give you an incorrect output. Technically S2 is the greater string. But to explain you logic, I have kept this program very simple over here. You can find an extended version of this program in the download sections, which you can try by yourself, where we have considered these cases as well. In the next program, we are going to count vowels from the given string. So we know that vowels are A, I, E, O and U, but we need to also ensure that even small cases are considered. So A, I, E, O and U. So I'm asking user to enter his number over here, and I'm using a variable as vowels which is initialized to 0 because it is going to maintain count of vowels. So that is why I have initialized it to 0. Then to the entered string, we have a loop over here. So starting from 0 till we reach null character, we are going to loop through string S, and then inside of each iteration, we are going to check current character whether it is equal to A, E, O, U and I. Notice that I have added OR condition over here. So same set of conditions are added for small letters also. So all conditions are with OR operator. So that is why if any of the condition is true, then we can consider incrementing vowels by 1. So at the end of the loop, we are just going to print vowels, and %d will be replaced by your variable vowels. In the next program, we are going to print a reverse of a given string. So I have S1 and S2 as my two strings. I'm asking user to enter string S1. So suppose user has entered A, B, C, D as the string. So these would be the indexes 0, 1, 2, 3. In order to start printing from D, C, B, A, we must know what is length of this string, because we are required to start from 3, 2, 1 and go till 0. Hence we will require to find length of the given string. So that is why we have first loop which is going to iterate through S1 till /0 is reached, and we will increment length by 1 so that we get length of S1. So once we have the length with us, I'm using another variable j which is initialized to 0 so that these characters in reverse order can be inserted into new string S2. So I'm going to start S2 from 0 with the help of this j is equal to 0, and for each iteration this value of j will be incremented inside of loop. So that is why this j++ is here, and this for loop is going to start from length -1. So if length of ABCD is 4, so we are going to start from length -1 as I have explained over here. So if 4 is the length, then we need to start writing characters from location 4 - 1, which is equal to 3. So from the third location we are going to go till 0th location, and inside of this loop I'm simply writing S2 of j is equal to S1 of I. So starting from this location, these characters will be inserted like this, and once these characters are inserted into S2, we are going to write /0 character into S2 at this location, and once this is done, we are going to print reverse string %s, which is S2, that will be replaced with %s. So our final result will be reverse string DCBA. In the next lecture, we are going to check whether this given string is palindrome or not. So what is palindrome? So if current given string is literal, then reverse of string is also literal. So these type of strings where reverse is same as actual string, those are palindrome, and rest of the strings are not palindrome. Like ABCD is not a palindrome because reverse is not same as ABCD. So how we can solve this problem? We can solve it in multiple ways. There are improved versions of this problem as well, which you can find in download section. But here in this video, we are going to discuss simplest approach to solve the problem. So what we need to do is we need to first find length of the string. So that is something that we have done over here, and after that we need reverse string as well. So we know the logic to find reverse string, so that I have written over here. So using this code, we are finding reverse of the string. We are calling that string as S2. We are also adding /0 at the end of S2. So S1 is your actual string and S2 is reverse of the string. So now only last task that remains is to check each character from the string. If it is equal till the end, that means the string is palindrome, else it is not. So we are going to write a for loop. We are going to iterate through S1 starting from 0 till null character occurs, and we are going to check S1 and S2 if those are equal. If both the characters are equal till the end, that means it is palindrome. If anywhere in the loop there is a mismatch between both characters, so we will print it is not a palindrome and we will execute the program immediately. So there is no point in checking further iterations. In the improved version of the program, there is no requirement of creating this S1. However, you can start checking values from this direction with other from this direction. That program you can find in the download section.